Hey, Shalom Akim, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Shai, and double honors to our leadership, the apostles and elders of GMS. Peace, mercy, and grace to the household of faith, the elect, beginning with 144,000. Welcome back to another lesson. I got this quote that says, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Right, man. And, thank the Lord for the struggle, for the times of times that are uncomfortable, because these actually make you a better man. Good men are they come from adversity. You know what I'm saying? The Most High don't make everything easy for us. All the time we're gonna have to we have to go through shit, man, and that's what makes us better men. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, because even Ezra was asking the Lord, pretty much, like, why not just give us the kingdom? Why not just make us and keep us perfect from the beginning? And the Lord didn't want to do that. He wanted us to go through things. He wanted us to go through the adversity. He wanted us to really know and understand good and evil, and the difference. And that's the same thing with life. Life is full of highs and lows, prosperity and adversity. And it teaches you things along the way, and I was just meditating because I was ill. I was really ill last week, and just meditating on it, I actually prayed for the Lord to help me get over some things, some habits that I had picked up. And me being ill, pretty much for as long as I was, it pretty much gave me enough time and momentum to stay away from certain things that I've been trying to avoid and been getting weak in. And that's the prime example. Through that adversity, the vessel is refined and made better. You know what I'm saying? So this quote again, it says, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men. And Babylon has been full of good times. And that's why, echoing a good point that I heard from some elders I was listening to last night, is that when you see these things happening, because us being in the truth, right, we have the understanding of the truth. So when we see all of these evils in the earth, all of this wickedness, all of these vexations and vanities amongst us, it's easy to get overran by the bitterness of it all, right? So the remedy to that is to keep reminding yourself of the prophecies. Like, okay, this is prophetic that this is happening. This scripture said that it would be like this. It said that they would act like this. Like lately, I've been working with children, and I get hella vexed by how disrespectful they are, how stupid they are, etc. And lately, I've been finding myself going back to that 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, about the perilous times. People will be disobedient to parents, unthankful, ungrateful, despisers of those that are good, etc. Right? So I just use that as an example. But like the elders were saying, tying these things into prophecies, right? And so looking at these soft ass men, and I'm gonna make my point, get my precepts, get this article, and keep it moving. But you look at these hard times, right? These difficult times, these perilous times this also prophetic. What's also prophetic with that is weaker men, men being weakened. And I was looking at this image, and it said, the captain of the image, it had said that big men, dealing with sinners in the NBA, sinners from back in the 90s versus today, right? And I saw another image of an NBA player back in the 70s who was 25, and dude was all jacked and swole and manly looking, right? And you look at sinners today, and it's not like every sinner, but these are just two examples of two notable sinners today, right? And they just hella tall, slender, no muscle tone, and it just reminds me of where we are today. Like, again, tying it to the scriptures of the prophecies, things would get weaker. Pretty much men would get weaker, all right, because it's really all about the men. The men are the leaders, the men are the builders, the men are the backbone of the society. We move and shake. And when you look at the average men, especially here in the West, they're softer, they're weaker, they have lower testosterone, all right, than their forefathers did at that same age. So let's go ahead and get this precept I'm gonna get the point here, but I want to read this whole section, but I'm gonna get the point for now. 2 Edges 14:17 or 16, it says, "For yet greater evils than those that which thou hast seen happen which shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." So let's go to this article here. Why modern men are losing their testosterone. And this was published October 12, 2018. Research has shown that men today have less testosterone than they used to. What's happening? Several studies have confirmed that testosterone counts in men are lower than what they used to be just a few decades ago. While most men still have perfectly healthy testosterone levels, its reduction puts men at risk for many negative health outcomes. And this also is going to play into why Elon Musk and you know these elites they come in with these technical solutions for so-called solutions for all of the problems plaguing people today. This was all done intentionally. It says the cause of this drop in testosterone isn't entirely clear, but evidence suggests that it is a multifaceted result of modern industrial life. Yep, it's the technology. All of these conveniences of technology and the uplifting and the liberation of the women, this is pretty much killing men. This is killing us. All right? It's killing us. It's taking away the things that kept our levels high. You know what I'm saying? Men don't have safe spaces anymore. It was a point where men had places where only men would be. The gym, a cigar spot, sporting events. All right. Everything that men once had for men, women done invaded and took over. And when women take over these places, men have to switch their behavior up. Right? Men can't be men anymore. You got to tiptoe. You got to be careful what you say, especially now. Everyone's offended and quickly ready to point the finger at you and play the blame game and give you bad reviews and take away your livelihood, right? So you have to be tippy-toeing around here now. But anyway, it says, Frank Sinatra had a violent temper, John Wayne was a racist, Burt Reynolds was a womanizer, and they all drank too much, way too much. Our values have changed more than the storied qualities of manliness. Despite this, there is something to the argument that men used to be more manly back in the day. A study on a large sample of American men found that the average testosterone level has been dropping by as much as 1% per year. Testosterone levels lower naturally with age, but this study found that a 65-year-old man in 1987 had about 17% more testosterone than a 65-year-old man in 2004. This wasn't just to Americans either. A Danish study found similar results. So even in Europe. Anecdotally, sex counselor Ian Kerner told CNN that he's noticed an increasing number of young guys are complaining of sexual concerns, such as diminished libido and erectile problems, more commonly seen in older men. Yeah, and this is a side effect of lower testosterone in men too, because men in their 20s, their testosterone levels are supposed to be high, well above 1,000, right? And a lot of them are low, right? 800, 700, 500, 400. All right, and that a side effect of that is ED, all right, diminished libido. All right, which that drive, man, because high test levels give you that drive and make you want to go out and get it. And people that's why they're so weak. That's why they're so passive. All right, and there goes some benefits here. Testosterone promotes attention, memory, spatial reasoning, and energy. Like I just said, pretty much. Essentially, it makes you sharper, and of course, it increases libido and muscle mass. When testosterone counts get too low, men can begin to feel fatigued, lose sexual interest, gain weight, and lose muscle mass. In addition, there is a link between low testosterone levels and depression. And this is why you're going to see more of this technology coming out to combat the depression and all of these issues that's being created. Because like even here, this article says, sorry, Elon, Americans don't want a brain chip. And part of them intentionally doing this to men is so that there would be less resistance, right? You know, it was a war tactic on men to, you know, you couldn't have these high test men from back in the 80s and 60s. They wouldn't have took this shit. They wouldn't have gone for all of this bullshit. They wouldn't have put up with women acting any kind of way, children acting any kind of way, government telling them doing all this bullshit. Nah, they would have rebelled. They would have resisted. You know, and I'm really talking about Edomites. Edomites would have said hell no. But even Jake from back in the day wasn't tolerating certain shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So to stop people, to weaken. That's why they say fluoride is in the water. They said that's what the tiny mustache German guy did before he made his move. They said he increased. Let me see if I can find that. The fluoride. But this is what they say. That the Nazis maliciously fluoridated the drinking water. Cause they say it pretty much makes you stupid. It dumbs you down. It makes you more weak. And they say that he did that to the water before he made his move. And it's known that the water supply that we drink now, the public, drinking water, tap water, has fluoride in it. Does fluoride make you docile? Fluoridating water keeps us dumb, docile, and sick. Both the Germans and Russians added sodium fluoride to the drinking water of prisoners of war to make them stupid and docile. So this is what the internet say. And this is the same water we drink and bathe in and all that shit, man. Bathing in it is the same as drinking it. So, So I'm going to get this quote again. Hard times create strong men create good times. Good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. And as I'm reading that, I'm seeing a timeline of the beginning of Babylon the Great, the establishment, the heyday of Babylon the Great, which from the heyday of it came good times. You know what I'm saying? The 50s were the golden days of Babylon the Great. And then from the 60s on down, it's pretty much been a decline, even though, a lot of us had good times in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. We had, still had good times. But, again, good times create weak men. And now look, everyone is becoming weaker. The men are becoming weaker. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we at the point now, the hard times, where the Lord is about to judge this place, about to go ahead and wrap this thing on up and bring the kingdom on earth. So let's get the precept. 2 Edges 14:14, because like the elder said, when you see these things happening, just tie it to the prophecies to help you stay comforted, stay in good spirits, and not be choked with bitterness. So 2 Edges 14:14 or 13, it says, "Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts. Cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." And the Lord is doing it. You had the evils of the time that Ezra saw at the time of him, this happening to him. 2,500 years later, we seeing greater evils, the evils that were not happening back then. All right. So the Lord is doing it, man. So rejoice in the prophecy. Verse 17, "For look how much the world shall be weaker through age," because the men are weaker. "And over time through age, it's getting weaker. It's getting worse. It's getting more through." It says, "So much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein." So seeing the evils increase, go back to the scriptures. The Lord said he'll do it. The Lord he's performing his word right before our faces. All right, so rejoice. Be a good comfort. Be a good cheer. The Lord is doing this for the sake of Zion. We almost out of here. I pray this is edifying and comforting lesson. On to the next one. Shalom.